Hi there, I'm Aaron Armstrong. I am the front-end developer at OpenPlus, and today I'm going to talk a little bit about theming, and more specifically theming for DrupalWxT. What we'll be talking about today is how to set up a subtheme, how to add CSS and JS files to the subtheme, and then we're going to get into templating and changing icons and some of the settings that are in DrupalWxT. So, let's get started. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to open up Terminal, and we're going to cd into the main directory of our site. And then what we're going to be doing is we're going to be using a drush command to set up a subtheme for DrupalWxT. So what we're going to do is we're going to do drush bootstrap wizard. Now once we do this, the first thing it's going to do is ask us for our subtheme name. So I'm going to give it the name of my subtheme. Next, what it's going to ask us is for the machine readable for the subtheme. And again, it's going to be my subtheme, and I'm just going to put an underscore between the words. Next, what it's going to ask us to do is choose our base theme for our new theme. And for that, we're going to choose option number 2, which is the WetKit Bootstrap. Now, once we've done that, it's going to ask us for the starter kit. And the starter kit, for simplicity reasons, we'll be choosing option number 1 today. But if you're familiar with Sass or less, option number 2 and 3 are something that you'll be able to choose. And instead of using a CDN for the styles and for the JavaScript, you'll use Sass or less for your CSS. Next, what it's going to ask us for is the destination of our subtheme. Generally, it's best practice to always put your subthemes inside of sites all themes. So that's exactly where we're going to go ahead and put it. Next, it's going to ask us for the README file. So we'll say yes. It's going to ask if we want to enable the new theme. And again, we're going to say yes. And then it's going to ask if we want to make this new theme our default theme. And we will go ahead and say yes. Now that the theme has been created, what we're going to do is we're just going to cd into sites all themes so that we can see that our theme has been created. And then what we're going to do is we're going to cd into our new subtheme just to see the files that have already been generated for us. And as you can see, there's a fave icon, some CSS folder, a logo, an info file, and a few others like a templates folder. And we'll get more into that in just a bit. Now what we're going to do is we're going to pop over to FileZilla, and we're going to open up our site on there. And what we're going to do next is we're going to create a few folders that we want inside of our subtheme that we've just created. So once you go into Sites All Themes, and mine's called My Subtheme, we're going to see the folders and files that are already generated for us. Now what we're going to do is we're going to create a few folders. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and create an images folder, a script folder, I call it JS, a SCSS folder. This would only be used if you're writing your CSS in Sass, and a fonts folder. Again, not all of these are needed, but if you're going to use special fonts, if you're going to use custom CSS and custom JS, then these are folders that you'll want to create. Now what we're going to do is we are going to learn how to add CSS and JS files to our newly created subtheme. Now we do this through the .info file, which was generated when we created our subtheme. So what we're going to do is we're going to open up the .info file. I have mine open up in Sublime Text. Now what you'll see already is you'll see a few regions created. You'll see one style sheet being called, and you'll see the name, the description, the base theme of the subtheme. So what we're going to do is we're going to create an extra style sheet, and we're going to call it init.css. And then what we're also going to do is we are going to add a JS file. And you add JS files by doing scripts equals and then your location inside of your subtheme. So js/init.js. So we're going to go ahead and save that and upload that to FileZilla. Once we've done that, what we're going to do is we're going to flush our cache. And once the cache has been flushed, then we will be able to see the CSS, the init CSS, and the init.js files being called in our theme. Now we're going to pop back over to FileZilla, and we're going to add some CSS and some JS to our site. So since we've already got a CSS file being called init.js, and a JS file being called init.js, we're going to go ahead and create and add those files. I've already gone and created some JS and some CSS for our subtheme. So I'm just going to go ahead and rename it and put it into the correct folder. And same with the JS. Now once we've done that, we will be able to refresh our page and be able to see the changes that we made to our CSS and our JS file. So as you might be able to see, I've changed the colors for the headings, for the footer, for the navigation, just a few simple things just so you can see how easily you can modify the theme. Now what we want to do is we want to go ahead and change the favicon for the site. Now this is very simple and very straightforward with Wet. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to Appearance and then click Settings in our subtheme. Now once we're there, you'll see a ton of different settings that you can change and modify for DrupalWxT. One of these being your shortcut icon, which is the favicon. Now by default, you'll have a checkbox turned on called Use the Default Shortcut Icon. What we're going to do is we're going to turn this off, and we're going to choose one of our own favicons that we've created, and then we're just going to click Save Configuration, and you'll already see that the favicon has changed for the site. Now you can do things like this for many different settings, such as the logo and modifying different displays, changing the tables. There's tons of different settings in here. So feel free to play around and learn what it can do. Now next what we're going to do is we're going to add a few template files which will allow us to modify and change the regions and the general page layout. We'll change things to the footer and to the header and things like that. And so what the first thing you'll want to do is you'll want to go and grab all of the templates that exist inside of DrupalWxT. So if you go into Profiles, WetKit, Themes, you'll be able to find the template folder for the main Drupal theme. Once you have that, which I've already gone and grabbed, what we're going to do is we're going to add them to our subtheme. Now we don't need to add all of them, you only need to add the ones that you're going to use. So the ones we're going to use are a page TPL and an HTML TPL, which are inside of System. There is a panels folder, which will have different panels TPL for the different base themes that we started with. So either the basic wet or the government or the intranet, etc. Lastly, there is a page folder, and that has the page TPL for all of the different themes. So all we need inside of each one of these, or all we're going to use today for each one of these, is the one for the base wet bow theme. So once you have your template files, as I have here, go ahead and drag them over inside of your templates folder in your subtheme. Now once you've done that, what we're going to do is we're going to pop over to our panels folder and open up the page panels wet bow TPL. And this is the TPL that we're going to change for panel pages that are that start from the base wet bow theme. And so as you can see from here, I've already gone and modified a few things in the template. I've added pieces to the footer. I've removed some things from the header, and I've added a couple other pieces above the footer. So once you go ahead, after you add your template files, go ahead and flush cache. And once the cache has finished flushing and you are on your home page, you should be able to see quite a few things changing depending on what you've changed. So as you can see here, I've added a little testimonial block. I have added a little quote here with a little background, and I've added a little copyright footer block. Now this is already pre-themed just because I've already added the CSS to my init.css beforehand. And that's how easy it is to be able to modify the template for each panel page. The same thing goes for the HTML or the page TPLs. Very simple and quick to do, and very, very useful when it comes to theming inside of DrupalWxT. So now that we've gone through adding our CSS files, adding our JS files, gone through a few of the settings inside of DrupalWxT, and modifying the templates and adding the templates, we're just going to look at just a couple of quick sites that use DrupalWxT, and you can see how different they look and how you can theme them. And so the first one is City of Ottawa, and you can see that it's very different from the base DrupalWxT theme. And the next one is humanrights.ca, the Canadian Museum for Human Rights. Now both of these are running on DrupalWxT, and they both look very different from each other, and the theming is they're very different from the base wet theme. So that concludes our tutorial today on theming, and I hope you had fun. Thank you.